The freshwater generator you see uses a shell-type evaporator. The ejector pump supplies water to the condenser for cooling and for driving the ejectors. The air ejector extracts air inside the shell to create vacuum. The brine ejector pumps out the brine collected inside the shell. The evaporator evaporates the seawater feed supplied by the ejector pump. The condenser condenses the water vapor to generate fresh water. The distillate pump transfers the fresh water produced to storage tank. Before starting the freshwater generator, open the ejector pump C suction, pump discharge, and overboard valve of the freshwater generator. Open the condenser seawater inlet and outlet valves. Now you can start the freshwater generator. Start the ejector pump. Check that the vacuum breaker valve is closed. Wait for the vacuum to build up to at least 95% of the rated value. This may take a few seconds. Crack open the feed inlet valve. Allow the seawater to flow to the evaporator. Open the heating water outlet valve fully. Open the heating water inlet valve slowly, about 1/4 initially. You will observe that the vacuum drops initially maybe to 69 centimeters mercury. At the same time, the shell temperature rises. Observe the evaporator top through the side glass. You should see a fine mist of vapor. The mist rises up and encounters the baffle plate. The baffle plate prevents bigger water droplets to pass to the condenser. Hence, bigger water droplets strike the plate and drop down, whereas the fine mist of water vapor rises above. The vapor then passes through the demister. This traps the remainder of water droplets which might carry salt. The vapor then condenses over the condenser tubes. The vacuum will again stabilize at 74 centimeters mercury once everything is stabilized. After a few minutes, through the side glass, you will see water below the condenser. Switch on the salinometer. Open air purge valve on the distillate pump. Also keep the discharge valve shut. Start the distillate pump. The salinity will read high initially. Keep the air purge valve open to drain the water till the salinity comes down to below 2 ppm or parts per million. When the salinity comes down to below 2 ppm, it is ready to be stored. Open the distillate pump discharge valve and the water is collected in the tank. Close the air purge valve of the distillate pump. Check the flow in the flow meter. This ensures that the freshwater generator is running normal. Gradually increase the feed and heating to increase freshwater production. When the freshwater generator is running, you need to monitor various parameters to ensure that the freshwater generator runs trouble-free. These parameters indicate the performance of the freshwater generator. The shell vacuum should be normally 75 centimeters mercury. If the vacuum drops, the freshwater production will reduce. The shell temperature should be maintained 45 to 48 degrees centigrade. The cooling water temperature and the shell vacuum are the two parameters which will affect the shell temperature. Higher shell temperature reduces the production of water. The normal heating water inlet temperature is 80 degrees centigrade and the heating water outlet temperature should be 72 degrees centigrade. The temperature difference between the inlet and the outlet indicates the efficiency of the evaporator. The optimum cooling water inlet temperature is 24 degrees centigrade and the outlet temperature should be 29 degrees centigrade. The temperature difference between the inlet and the outlet indicates the efficiency of the condenser. The salinometer senses the salinity of the fresh water produced and displays in ppm of chloride. The salinity should be less than 3 parts per million for the distilled water produced. The salinometer gives an alarm when the salinity increases above the set limit 10 ppm and redirects the water produced back to the evaporator. Close the heating water inlet and outlet valves. Switch off the salinometer and stop the distillate pump. Stop the ejector pump and close the ejector inlet and outlet valve. Open the vacuum breaker valve to release the vacuum. Open the drain valve at the bottom of the evaporator.